Yes, where am I? Yes. Hello there. Welcome back to the Ogre, the old Kit Reacts, Reviews and Off-Times Reminiscences. I was miles away then. Yeah, so what am I doing? Oh yeah, Tselech. We're doing today. Now one of the good things, or the great things, most brilliant things about getting your boots mucky, traipsing through the underground, trying to find something new, or if not new, something vibrant and something that will get you going, is really you don't need to go too far into the depths to find little nuggets to reward your efforts, and sometimes you really need to get elbows deep and almost drown in the stuff to find artists that mean you emerge from the darkness with a big grin on your face and feel like you've achieved something. Does that make any sense at all? I don't know, but the point is, that's how I found this. Did it take much delving? No. Yes, no. Yes, it did. No, it didn't. Thinking about it, no, I was pointed in the direction I needed to look, so no, it wasn't as grueling an effort as I thought. But well, anyway, let's just listen to the song, shall we? Let's go.
For fire being the destroyer of all things, the sun's stone after this manner would burn up all near adjoining bodies. Besides, said they, fire cannot subsist without fuel, and the sunstone, having nothing to feed on, would in a short time consume itself. Both the light and heat of the sun proceeded from a swift circular motion of the ethereal globules, which by their striking upon the optic nerve caused light, and their motion produced heat. The deadly apoplexy was a dead palsy of the brain, and the spotted plague was a gangrene of the vital parts. And as the gangrene of outward parts did strike inwardly, so the gangrene of inward parts did break forth outwardly, which is the cause, said they, that as soon as the spots appear, death follows. For then it is an infallible sign that the body is throughout infected with the
The thing with these sort of intros is that depending on how excuse me, how bonkers the artist is, you don't know whether you're going to get that all the way through, but by and large you know that if you've got something that conjures something a little bit dark and a little bit macabre, you can usually bide your time, ready for the delight that follows. I suppose the letdown, it would be the first time I've listened to nearly a full track of waffle like that before anything kicks in and it's all over. So I am wary of these sort of intros, but because I've heard this one or two times, I can reassure you that things are going to get better. And you know, it's all in the ear of the beholder, and so for me, I'd rather that the music kicked in straight away. You may feel quite different about that and might be happy for an atmosphere builder, and the artist, of course, it's their music, they can do what the fuck they want with it. So anyway, let's crack on. sure if I cut off any of the beginning of the music proper when I click back into the music. I might have done, but it'd be only a few seconds. But anyway, yes. So the reward was there, wasn't it? Straight into that bonkersness, helter-skelter drumming, and the dark stuff with burrowed amongst it all the ghost of Jimi Hendrix's dog wailing away in the background on his guitar. Fantastic. And of course this is something that artists that lurk in the underground can reward us with. They can do things that people that are tied to labels or to fan expectations or whatever it may be, they have free reign to come out with unhinged stuff like this. Absolutely frantic background over the also frantic but more straightforward rhythm and percussion, but you can't beat a lysergic vein coursing through music like this. Done there, press the wrong button. Bear with me while I go back to where I should have gone to. Sort of trying to remember whereabouts on the timer I was. I don't normally do very often. I do watch your reaction channels, not to pick up any hints or any sources, because the reaction channels I tend to listen to don't really feature that much metal, or certainly no underground metal, that's for sure. But they do have a habit of thinking that our memories are such that they have to go back 10 seconds and replay what they've just listened to, which I never quite get, but and I don't do myself, as you no doubt noticed, but I have to do it here just to get back to where I thought I was. Yes, it was. Right, press the right button this time. Right, so what was I going to say when I pressed the button about to say something? Oh yeah, so one of the joys of this sort of music is discovery and rediscovery and discovering a little bit more, because nothing is apparent on the first listen when you have music like this. And you know, a track you think you've got to grips with, when you listen to it again, you find the nuances, and they are nuances rather than major revelations, but they do come out, and it does make delving into music like this so rewarding. You have to be drawn into it with some immediacy anyway, because you don't go back and listen to it again otherwise. But so I was immediately drawn to this music when I first heard it, but nonetheless there's a deeper reward in going back into it and picking out those little nuggets that you missed the last time you listened to it. And it does take a degree of commitment. I don't mean any heavy commitment, but you know, it doesn't really need you to be particularly resolved in doing so, but you perhaps have to be mindful to listen for the bits you've missed, because they don't always come out. I mean, I listen to music like this very often as a background when I'm doing other things, or in the dark with headphones on, to be enveloped by the whole, and don't particularly care too much about nuance. But other times I do seek out, or do listen more intently to see if I've missed something. To be fair, that's rare I do that, but I do, particularly on doing this sort of thing. I do. Yeah, so yeah, it's a bit like panning for gold. You really do have to take some time over something sometime to find the shiny bits. Just about to say that when you listen to music played this way, sometimes you hear things that may or may not be there. So that flailing lead riff that came in fairly early doors when the music started, at times in that middle section I thought it was, elements of it were back, but in reality I think it's a shadow or a hint of that music in there, and it's not really until, as it's just about always happening now, that needling guitar comes back in, that you realise that you probably didn't hear it where you thought you heard it, but the spectre it was present throughout. So there you go. Outwardly chaotic, but clearly there was structure to it. But nonetheless, if you could basically say that it was all over the place in a very deliberate way. It's almost as if somebody is demolishing a building, and it's not quite falling down quick enough for some people, and so they chucking petrol in there and setting light to it to try and burn the fucking thing down at the same time. So yes, gloriously just hanging on to the rails there before dropping off into some chasm somewhere, which is the best sort of music very often, hanging on by the skin of your teeth type music. Yes, so we really enjoyed this album, and maybe you would too. Give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? Anyway, clicky bollocks, catch you all next time. Cheerio.